Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to make some soap later today, but I started exploring the option of using master batch, which is 50% lye, 50% water. And I've never done that before, but I'm intrigued by what a lot of people are saying online about how it speeds up your soap making process. So today I'm going to go ahead and make some 50% lye, 50% water solution. I had everything except for a container to store it in, and I scrounged everywhere in town yesterday. And the smallest container that I could find that was rated a number two and a high density polyethylene was 3 gallons. And I did not want to make 3 gallons, but I got these on Amazon, and these are 64 ounces. So today, before I make up too much of my master batch, I'm going to explore making just one of these 64 ounces to just kind of see how it works and let it cool down to room temperature, and then use that to make my next recipe of soap. So stick around and I'll walk you through this process of making master batch 50/50.
Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and gather all of the supplies that we need. I'm going to start off by weighing the stainless steel measuring cup. Now, what happened here is my scale was out in the sun and it was pretty hot, so I was unable to read any of the digits that were down there. This is the lye that I'll be using. I just get it at a local Walmart. Walmart, excuse me. But I was unable to read any of the digits when I went to measure the water, so I had to stop doing this and take it inside and let it cool down. And you'll see that here in the next clip.
Okay, we had a little bit of a snafu with the scale out here in the direct sun. It is hot out here in Eastern Oregon. I mean, it has nothing on Arizona, but it is still hot nonetheless. Um, So I was unable to read the numbers here, so I took it back in the house to let the scale cool down for a minute or two, and then weighed out my liquid solution of water right here. And so here I have 32 ounces by weight water, which 32 ounces by weight of water is actually the same as 32 ounces by volume, because water is a 1.0. That's its density. So 1 gram equals is 1 milliliter. So that's going to be 1 ounce is 1 ounce. Um, but here we have 1 pound of lye that we're going to put in here, 16 ounces. So I got 32 ounces of water and 32 ounces of lye that we're going to add to this solution. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, which I am doing this for the first time, but I actually didn't have this thought because I actually come from a science background, but many would say, oh, I'm adding 32 ounces of water and 32 ounces of lye. That means I'm going to get 64 ounces of finished product, causing this container, 64-ounce container, to be full. That's actually not true. It's only going to be about 32 ounces as well, because the lye is going to dissolve in the solution. It's going to have a different weight at that point in time. It's no longer going to weigh 32 ounces. It will weigh more, because lye does weigh more than water. So, but that's a misconception. It's not going to be 32 plus 32, because it's not two volumes. We're doing everything by weight. So it will still be 32 ounces of solution, roughly, might be a little bit more in this solution, or in this container here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera views now so you can see me add this to it. And because I'm adding so much lye, I'm doing this here outside. I'm going to have gloves on, protective gear, just to ensure that lye doesn't get anywhere or get on me, because it is very dangerous. So be very cautious as you work with lye. Thank you.
Okay, so here we have all of the necessary items that we need in order to make our master batch. Got my protective gear on, my goggles, my gloves. I should be wearing heavier gloves. And now that I'm all suited up, I'm going to go ahead and grab the lye. I am aware that I am wearing flip flops and shorts, and that is not a good idea when mixing lye with water. But here I'm going to go ahead and take 1 pound, 16 ounces of lye, and combine it with the already 32 ounces of water that is in that container. I will add the second pound here shortly. Here I'm just giving it a stir just to ensure that none of the lye sticks to the bottom. I like to make sure that that doesn't happen. Here I'm just giving it a really good mix just to make sure that it does stay mixed up and goes into solution. And now I'm going to add the second 16-ounce canister of lye to that water and give it a nice stir as well. Now that everything's all mixed up here, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on the canister and I'm going to let it sit to cool until it's time to bottle it.
All right, good morning. Welcome back. I'm back here to actually take the lye, the master batch that I made yesterday. I had intended to transfer this to my container today or yesterday, but the temperature of the master batch got extremely hot. So it got all the way up to like 215 degrees. So it took a long time for it to cool down to even be able to transfer. So I left it out all night. I left it out here on the porch, out of the way. There's nobody around here, no kids, no animals or anything like that, to get into it, to let it cool down. And now it's been sitting in the house, getting up to room temperature for the last few hours. So I'm going to transfer that into my container. I realized yesterday as I was looking through the video footage that, man, I was making that and I wasn't wearing long sleeves like I am today. I wasn't wearing my heavy duty gloves. I was just wearing thin nitrile gloves. I did have my eye protection on, but today full on arms are covered. I'm wearing pants, not wearing flip flops today. So it's pants and cowboy boots. I've got my lye solution, I've got my container, I've got my funnel, um, obviously got my protection and gloves, and I have a strainer to strain out any excess lye that has not been dissolved in the water. So we're going to go ahead and get to this and get transferring this. This actually turned out to be 44 total ounces by volume after adding the lye to the 32 ounces of water. So we're going to get at it. Okay, so here is my lye solution, and this has been cooling out for quite some time. And I'm not sure if you can see in there, but there is some white floaties in there, essentially. That's undissolved lye, and we're going to go ahead and filter that out as we pour this into the container. This container lid off. Put on my filter here, or my funnel. Now, this funnel here is a KitchenAid funnel that actually has another little tiny filter on the inside, but those holes are pretty big, so I'm going to be running this through another filter or another screen right here as we pour this in. Try to keep this as um, stable as possible. Okay, so here we go. Hold this right over that. The lye solution is very syrupy. It's not like it normally is when you pour in lye solution into soap. It's very syrupy. Get as much out of this container as possible. And this looks like solids that we will wash down the drain. I'm going to put that filter right over that. And the next thing we'll do is we'll wash that off. Get that. There. Get as much out of this funnel as possible into the jar. Here. So take that all inside and we're going to wash it nice and clean. Peel this up nice and tight. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Everything's cleaned up and finished up, and I was able to get it all right here in the container. Filled up to right about there. That was about 44 ounces. And I'm going to get a label on here that says 50/50 lye solution. Probably put some crossbones on there, something that just says that this is dangerous. So I don't see myself filling this container up any fuller. I think that this is the manageable size for this amount of liquid. I am going to make another batch. I'll put it in a different liquid, but like I said, I'm going to use ice this time rather than water to try to maintain the temperature. I really don't like it when things get up to 215 degrees. That's pretty hot. So I'm going to try that probably later this afternoon, and I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks.
Hey everyone, so just to give you an update, I did do a batch, making another master batch, 50/50 lye solution with um, water and lye, and I did it with ice this time. I didn't care for how it turned out. Yeah, the temperature did stay on the low side. I think the highest it got was like 130 degrees. So I did like that. What I didn't like was it was hard to tell that all the lye was actually broken up on the bottom. So when I went to go pour it into my container, I ultimately had some clumps of lye still on the bottom. It wasn't dissolved in. So technically that's going to mean that that solution is not a true 50 to 50. But nonetheless, I got it and I'll use it still anyways. The first batch I made, which was 50/50, I am actually making a loaf of soap on that as well. But I'm considering going to a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts water, 1 part lye. When I used the 50/50 lye solution here and combined it with the water I needed to, based on the recipe details that I had, it heated up again. And now it didn't heat up to its normal temperature. Normally, when I would combine lye with water, it would get to about 157, 158, right in there. It didn't quite heat up that high, but it did heat up. It got up to about 130. So I'm still having to wait for it to cool down. So I'm thinking going to a 2-to-1 ratio for my master batches, which means I'll have to use more master batch and water as well. So, and less water, but more master batch. But nonetheless, I'm going to give that a shot and we're going to see how that goes. So we'll stay tuned.